There's a wonderful insight in the Doctrine and Covenants about how God knows us personally. Oliver Cowdery was a man who desired to know what God wanted him to do. He wanted to know that God knew him. And there's a wonderful revelation where the Lord says to him through the prophet Joseph, if you desire a further witness, cast your mind upon the time, the night that you prayed for a witness, an understanding of these things. And did I not speak peace to your mind concerning the matter? What greater witness can you have than from God? So the Lord was teaching Oliver that the Lord knew that Oliver had received a revelation, that here Oliver was receiving that confirmation, that direct confirmation through a prophet, that God knew him, that God knew his desires, that he knew his needs, that he knew his name, that he knew his plan, that he knew his purposes. That God knew Oliver Cowdery. He knew what he'd called him to do. He knew what he wanted him to do. He knew the role that he would play. He knew the extent of his knowledge and his witness and his testimony. These were things that God was intimately aware of. And I've thought a lot about this idea that God knows us perfectly. He knows what we've prayed over. He knows what we've fasted about. He knows the weaknesses we've struggled with and the victories that we've achieved. He knows us all our successes and our failures, our deepest desires, our most heartfelt longings. And that's really interesting to me, because we are really not known very well by many people. When you think about it, how many of us are known by our heads of state, by our kings or queens or our prime ministers, by the president of our country? How many of us are known to celebrities? How many of us are known to people in history? We wouldn't be well known to these people. I wouldn't be known. I'm not known by celebrities. I know much more about them than they know about me. And when I read a book, I know about the author, but he doesn't know about me. This very one-way communication that we have in most of the world, even on social media, a lot of the communication we have is we see what people are doing and saying, but they don't necessarily see what we're doing and saying, especially if they're in the spotlight and we're not. And God is the ultimate being. He's more famous than any celebrity, and he has more things to worry about and concern himself with than any celebrity. Celebrities and kings don't know our name, don't know our needs, don't know our history and our desires and our potential, but God does. And that's the point, that's the contrast here that Oliver is learning, that God knows him intimately and infinitely. He knows his desires and his longings and his capacities. He's known to the supreme being, the greatest being in the universe. And we are as well. We're known to God by name and by need. We're known by our history and our struggles and our joys, our successes and failures, and our future, what our potential is, and the things that will come into our lives. So God knows us. We are known to God. We are known by God. We are loved by him. And he has a plan and a purpose for us. And that's an understanding that we would never get in any other mortal relationship. No other mortal knows us the way God does, or has the capacity to love us in the way God does, or the power to save us, the power to reveal his will to us, to give us knowledge and instruction, and to prepare us fully for the eternal blessings that lie before us. So we're known to God, we're loved by him. And just think on that, ponder on that idea, that you may not be known to the celebrities, you may not be known to kings and queens, or to generals, or to those who are rich and famous. You may not be known beyond the limited area of the locale you live in, but you're known by God, he who is the ultimate being, the supreme being. He knows you and loves you and pleads for you to come to him and to know him as he knows you. And how wondrous it is to know that we have a God that's intimately involved in knowing us in this way.